The river metaphor isn't decorative. It isn't the kind of poetic flourish that sounds impressive at graduation ceremonies and means nothing by Tuesday. The comparison between a river and your life is one of the most structurally accurate analogies in the history of philosophical thought. It is because it is correct. Rivers move from origin to terminus. They encounter resistance. They cut new channels, slow in wide valleys, and accelerate through narrow gorges. They carry sediment. They carve canyons. They do not ask permission from the terrain they are moving through. If you want to understand what your life actually is, not what you wish it were, or what you have been told it should be, the river is where you start. Most frameworks for understanding human existence avoid the implications of this comparison. The river does not. Heraclitus of Ephesus made this argument around 500 BCE. His famous statement is usually translated as, "You can't step into the same river twice." That translation is accurate but incomplete, and the part it misses is the part that matters most. The original Greek fragment reads closer to this: "On those stepping into rivers staying the same, other and other waters flow." The emphasis is not on the water changing. The emphasis is on the river staying the same because the water changes. The river maintains its identity through continuous replacement of its contents. Stop the flow, and you don't have a preserved river. You have a lake. Your life works the same way. The version of you that existed 10 years ago held different cells, different beliefs, different fears. That change did not destroy your identity. It constituted it. You are not the water. You are the river. Heraclitus called the underlying order governing this process the logos. What Heraclitus meant was specific. The logos is the rational structure that governs change itself. Change is not random. It follows a pattern. Your river does not cut in arbitrary directions. It follows the path that pressure, gradient, and the accumulated geology of your experience determine. Your choices do not occur in a vacuum. They occur at the intersection of your history, your current circumstances, and the actual structure of what is available to you right now. Understanding that structure honestly, rather than pretending it does not constrain you, is what separates people who move through their lives deliberately from people who are simply carried along without knowing it. Most people misunderstand what it means to flow with the current. They hear it as passivity, as resignation, as allowing whatever happens to happen without resistance or decision. This is not what the river teaches you. A river is not passive. It erodes stone. It reroutes itself around obstacles. It floods when your volume requires it. The current is a force, not an absence of force. When your life asks you to flow rather than fight, it is not asking you to stop acting. It is asking you to direct your effort toward what is actually happening, rather than exhausting yourself against your own situation. Resistance to the current is expensive. It depletes your resources. The people who spend their energy fighting what is, rather than working within it, do not stop the river. They just wear out before the valley arrives. The rapids in your life are not mistakes in the design. Heraclitus was explicit about this. He argued that strife and opposition are not aberrations, they're the engine. His claim that war is the father of all things sounds extreme until you understand what he meant. Without opposition, there is no motion. Without the resistance of the riverbed and the canyon walls, water has no shape, no speed, no direction. The hardest passages of your life, the stretches that demanded everything you had, were also the stretches that gave you the most definition. Not because suffering is inherently valuable. It is not. But your encounter with genuine resistance is what forces you to find out what you are actually made of. Soft water cuts granite. It just takes longer than you think it will. There is a practical problem with how most people apply this metaphor to their lives. They use it to justify inaction. They invoke going with the flow as a reason to avoid hard decisions, to stay in situations that should be left behind, to accept circumstances that genuinely warrant your pushback. This inverts what the metaphor actually teaches. Rivers do change their courses. They abandon old channels when a better path opens. They cut entirely new beds through resistant terrain when the pressure builds enough. What a river does not do is flow uphill because doing so would be tidier. Your life requires the same discrimination. You need to know the difference between what your actual situation demands and what your fear or avoidance is insisting on. Conflating the two is how people spend years moving through the wrong terrain without understanding why nothing is working. The pace of your river changes throughout your journey. Wide valleys slow the water. Your river becomes broader there, calmer, more capable of giving something back to the land around it. Narrow gorges accelerate it again. Neither section is your permanent condition. The problem with living inside your rapids is that you can't see past the next obstacle. Your entire field of vision is white water. What the river metaphor offers, if you take it seriously and apply it without sentimentality, is a structure that places your current experience inside a longer geography. Your gorge has an end. The water moving through your life right now is moving towards something wider. The deeper implication of Heraclitus's river is this: your specific river belongs only to you. Your particular origin, your accumulated sediment, your channel history, the places where you flooded and the places where you ran nearly dry. Nobody else is running your course. Your decisions have to be made from your actual position, not from someone else's map of where they think you should be. Your past cannot be wished away. It deposited what it deposited. What you have to work with is the river as it runs right now, the channel as it currently sits, and whatever lies in the geography still ahead.